You know what's wild? Most people's investment strategy in 2026 is basically throw money at whatever that crypto guy on Twitter is yelling about. And congratulations, you're playing financial roulette with your retirement, and the house always wins. According to Vanguard, 67% of retail investors have zero clue about proper asset allocation. And that's like building a house with only a hammer. Sure, you've got a tool, but good luck installing a toilet. Here's the deal. I'm going to break down the 5 investment categories that actually matter in 2026. But my 80-year-old friend Alan, the guy with an amazing business acumen, just told me something last week that might flip this entire list upside down. And I'll tell you what he said at the end. Stick around, because your future self is begging you to watch this. Category number 1, equities, or stocks, that I'm basically Warren Buffett trap. And real talk, stocks are like the quarterback of your investment team. They get all the glory, all the attention, and yeah, they deserve to be there, but here's where everyone screws this up in 2026. You're probably thinking stocks just means buy some Apple and call it a day. Wrong. In 2026, the equity game has split into 2 major plays: large cap stocks like the S&P 500 and small cap stocks that are showing serious growth potential. But here's the juicy part. According to Goldman Sachs' 2025 outlook, AI and technology sectors are dominating both categories like nothing we've seen before. I'm talking about companies building the infrastructure for artificial intelligence, not just using it. Data centers, semiconductor manufacturers, enterprise AI platforms. This isn't your dad's tech stock rally from the .com era. But here's the problem. I see people going all in on equities, putting 90% of their portfolio in stocks because the market always goes up, bro. Well, plot twist, the market doesn't care about your optimism. During 2022, the S&P 500 dropped 18%. And if your entire portfolio was in stocks, you ate that loss for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the fix, you need stocks, but they should be maybe 60 to 70% of your portfolio, depending on your age and risk tolerance. And within that, you want diversification, not just tech, not just large cap, but a mix that includes small cap growth opportunities. So drop a comment below. What's the wildest stock tip someone's given you? And I'll go first. I once had a guy at Costco tell me to invest everything in ostrich farming because it's the next chicken. I did not take that advice, but let me know down in the comments. But here's what nobody tells you about stocks. They're only exciting until you realize what category number 2 quietly does while you sleep. Category number 2, fixed income, bonds, your boring friend who retires rich. Bonds are like that friend who brings a salad to the Super Bowl party. Nobody's excited about them, but they are a low-key essential. And real talk, I ignored bonds until my 40s because they weren't sexy. Then I did the math and realized my friend Will, the digital marketer, had been quietly stacking bonds for decades while I was chasing get-rich-quick schemes. Here's the thing, in 2025 and 2026, bonds are actually paying competitive rates again. U.S. Treasuries, municipal bonds for tax benefits, and corporate bonds for higher yields. These aren't your grandpa's 2% returns anymore. And according to the Federal Reserve data from late 2025, 10-year Treasury yields are hovering around attractive levels compared to the last decade. Municipal bonds, if you're in a high tax bracket, these are giving you tax-free income that can beat taxable investments when you do the actual math. But here's where it gets interesting. Bonds aren't about getting rich, they're about not getting poor. They're the financial equivalent of a defensive lineman. Not flashy, but they protect your quarterback or your stocks from getting sacked. Fast forward to 2026, and guess what? When stock markets get volatile, which they will, bonds tend to hold steady or even go up. And that's called negative correlation, which sounds like a disease, but it's actually your portfolio's best friend. The fix, depending on your age, you want 20 to 40% in fixed income. The old rule was your age in bonds, but with people living longer, I'd say your age minus 10 or 20. So if you're 50, maybe 30 to 40% in bonds. If you're 30, maybe 10 to 20%. Now, while stocks and bonds are fighting for attention, there's one category that's been quietly printing money for people who actually understand it. Category number 3, real estate. The I saw it on HGTV delusion. Okay, real estate. Everyone thinks they're a real estate genius because they binge watch some property flipping show. But here's the problem. Actual real estate takes capital, time, and maintenance. And you know what doesn't? real estate investment trust, or REITs. In 2026, the smart money isn't just buying rental properties and dealing with 3 a.m. toilet emergencies. They're buying REITs, specifically niche ones focused on data centers and healthcare facilities. Think about it. Where does all of that AI computing happen? Data centers. What do aging baby boomers need more of? Healthcare facilities. According to JP Morgan's 2025 REIT analysis, data center REITs are showing double-digit growth because, shocker, everyone and their dog is trying to run AI models. And those things need serious computing power housed somewhere. And healthcare REITs, same story. The US population is aging faster than a banana in the sun, and these facilities are in demand. And you can invest these through your regular brokerage account. No need to buy a fourplex and become a landlord. Just buy shares in professionally managed real estate portfolios that pay dividends quarterly. And here's the math. Let's say you put $10,000 into a diversified REIT portfolio yielding 5% annually. That's $500 a year in passive income. That's like 50 Chipotle burritos just for existing. Not life-changing, but multiply that by smart allocation and it adds up. But before you go all in on the sexy investments, there's one category that literally saved my butt in 2008, and most people completely ignore it. Category number 4, cash and cash equivalents. The emergency fund you keep skipping. Look, I get it. Cash is boring. Cash doesn't moon. Cash doesn't make you feel like a financial genius at dinner parties. But here's where it gets real. In 2026, cash and cash equivalents aren't paying the pathetic 0.01% they were during the 2010s. High yield savings accounts are currently offering competitive rates. We're talking 4 to 5% in early 2025. Money market funds, similar story. Certificates of deposit, CDs, you can lock in solid rates for 6 to 12 months. This is called emergency fund money. And according to the Federal Reserve's 2024 data, nearly 40% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing or selling something. Let me tell you what happened to me in 2007 when the economy tanked. I had zero emergency fund, like literally negative money because I was in debt. And you know what I couldn't do? Anything. I couldn't make strategic moves, couldn't negotiate, couldn't breathe. And fast forward to now, I keep 6 months of expenses in high yield savings. That's about $30,000 just sitting there earning 4.5% interest. That's $1,350 a year for doing absolutely nothing except being financially responsible. The fix, you need 3 to 6 months of actual expenses, not your imaginary doomsday needs and high yield savings or money market accounts. This isn't your investment money. This is your life happens money. All right, so we've covered the foundation categories, but there's one category that's basically the Wild West of investing, and it's where things get really interesting. Category number 5, alternatives, the shiny object syndrome. This is called the shiny object syndrome, which sounds like something you'd catch at a carnival, but it's actually worse. It's where people chase whatever's hot without understanding it. And alternatives include commodities like gold and silver, private equity, and digital assets like cryptocurrency. And man, this category makes people lose their minds. It's that guy who bought $5,000 in Dogecoin because Elon tweeted a meme and now thinks he's a hedge fund manager. Or that person who bought gold in 2011 at $1,900 an ounce and watched it languish for a decade. And here's the thing, according to 2025 market data, precious metals like gold and silver have actually performed strongly. Gold hit new all-time highs. Why? Because when everything else looks scary, people run to the oldest safe haven known to humanity. And Bitcoin, the introduction of Bitcoin ETFs in 2024 made cryptocurrency accessible through traditional brokerage accounts. You don't need to understand blockchain or worry about losing your crypto wallet password anymore. You can buy it like a stock. But, and this is a massive but, alternatives should be maybe 5 to 10% of your portfolio max. And this is your speculation money, your I can afford to lose this money. The thing you should be tracking isn't how much you made on some random altcoin, it's whether your overall portfolio allocation makes sense. See, this ties back to what I learned going through bankruptcy. The middle class mindset says, find the one investment that makes you rich. The wealth building mindset says, build a balanced portfolio across categories that compounds over time. Which brings me back to what my 80-year-old friend Alan told me that changed everything. All right, so what's the right way to approach these 5 investment categories in 2026? Remember Alan from the beginning, the crazy successful business owner? Here's what he told me over coffee last week. JD, I've seen every market cycle since the 1960s. And you know what separates people who build lasting wealth from people who get lucky once? They're boring. They allocate across all 5 categories and rebalance quarterly. The plot twist, the most successful investor I know personally isn't chasing the next hot thing. He's methodically boring. Here's your action plan. Number 1, calculate your risk tolerance. Be honest. Can you sleep when stocks drop 20%? If not, adjust accordingly. And number 2, create your allocation framework. Equities or stocks, 50 to 70% depending on age and risk tolerance. Fixed income, bonds, 20 to 40% for stability. Real estate or REITs, 10 to 15% for diversification and income. Cash and equivalents, 5 to 10% for emergencies and opportunities. Alternatives, 5 to 10% for speculation and inflation hedge. Number 3, open accounts with a reputable brokerage that allows you to invest in all 5 categories easily. Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. Pick one and commit. Number 4, set up automatic monthly investments across these categories. Dollar cost averaging is your friend. Number 5, review quarterly. First week of January, April, July, October, and rebalance if any category drifts more than 5% from your target. And last, number 6, adjust annually based on age and life changes. The goal isn't to pick the winning category. The goal is to have exposure to all 5 so that no matter what 2026 throws at you, stock market volatility, interest rate changes, real estate shifts, inflation, you're positioned to survive and thrive. Your money should be working across multiple fronts, not sitting in one category hoping for a miracle. Now look, I get it. This feels overwhelming. It feels like you need a finance degree just to invest your own money. But comfortable doesn't make you wealthy. Disciplined allocation across these 5 categories makes you wealthy. So stop being that person who puts everything in one basket and calls it a strategy. Be that person who shows up to 2027 with a balanced portfolio that survived whatever chaos happened. Okay, that metaphor kind of got away from me a little bit. But just pick your allocation, set up your accounts, and automate the process. Future you will thank you. Current you might need therapy, but that's what the emergency fund is for. And if you want to learn more about personal finance, check out this video. And if you need help finding a good brokerage, I've got comparison links in the description. Now stop watching YouTube and go set up your portfolio allocation. Peace be with you, and may your returns be high and your diversification be strong.